There we go. You guys should be able to hear me now. I was just sharing it out, guys. So you should be able to hear me now. I was sharing out the video, well, the broadcast. So let's see. What am I looking for now? Share. More options. Share. I'm on my last share now. So share to a page and share. Hello, Trina. Y'all are so funny. She says, Professor, we cannot hear you. Hello, Hans. All right. So I just got my food. It took them forever and a day. So I'm going to, oh, this is a very weird angle. Okay. So I'm going to kind of jump right into this, taking this apart. The printer that I have, let me kind of jump over there real quick. So we're going to open this up and take the ink out. As you can see, I have this error that says scanner error or whatever. I can't figure out how to clear it out. Someone said it was something with either firmware or like the version of the program that was on there. Did all of that. It still says this whole scanner error. So I'm going to just go ahead, take the ink out so that I can take it back. All right. So we're going to jump right into this. This is one that a lot of people have asked about. So share. If you are able to share to a group, tag a friend, you know someone, maybe you just saw a post and someone was asking about that. This will apply, or this will be helpful if you want to switch out ink brands. If you put the Epson dye ink in it first and you want to switch it out, maybe you bought the wrong ink, you brought pigment ink instead of sublimation ink. Maybe you had sublimation ink in and now you want to do pigment ink. It will be the video for you to see how you switch out the inks. Now, this process can work for any of the EcoTank printers, whether it's the 2720, 2760, 3710, 3760, 4700, 4760. And then when it comes to like the 15,000 and the 16,600 and 16,650, the way that they open is a little bit different, and you actually can see the parts of it. If I'm not mistaken, the way that that one opens, when you open it up, you actually can see the cartridges that you're going to see on this one. And you just have to kind of take those cartridges and pull it off and then drain it. All right. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to jump, like I said, jump right into this because I'm hungry. Okay. So let's go ahead and switch over to, oh, I actually did picture in picture. So no, let's go over to the side cam. All right, for this, you're just going to need a screwdriver. You will need syringes. Now we have the 20 milliliter, and then for our black, we do have the 30 milliliter. So I'm going to use those. It's going to make it a lot easier. As you can see, I told you I was going to put nails on. Don't know where, I didn't have time to because they finished with my food really late. And I need to move my microphone over. Probably to about there. So you guys should still be able to hear me nice and, nice and clear right there. All right. You will need a screwdriver, which, where did my screwdrivers go? I got these sets from the Dollar Tree. So if you are someone who doesn't have tools, you can go to the Dollar Tree and get them. So you're not even gonna need the flathead. You're gonna need the Phillips screwdriver. On the printer, I'm gonna try and hold this up, which, you know what? Why do I even have you turned on? Oh, only because I wanted you guys to see the little foolish error that I got on there. Don't know what that error is for, but I can now unplug this bad boy. All right. So on the printer, there are there's a set of four, there's 4 screws. I'm actually missing a screw here. So there's 4 screws. Here it is. This one already came off. There's 2 here on this little flap. You don't want to take that off. There's some deep in the corner. There's one right there. And then this one came from right here. Make sure you grab something so that you can put that in. That's why I brought my little cup in here so I can drop my screw in there. But there's a screw like underneath the flap, not the one that is here that you can clearly see. There is one back here, and then there's one right there. You want to unscrew those. I'm going to kind of get down here so that I can unscrew it. All right. Once you do that, this is literally going to pop up. Now you can try and put something in here to kind of hold it in place. You know, maybe even your ink bottle just to hold it up, because there's nothing that's going to hold it. So ink bottle works really great to do that. So as you can see from, and I'm going to switch it to the overhead, or I'm going to do both of them. Well, actually, shoot, you're not going to be able to see it. Let's pull this forward. Don't mind my junky floor. All right. So as you can see, there is the tank here, and the tubes go from the tank through here, comes to the cartridges. So people always think that there are no cartridges in here. There are definitely cartridges still here. It's just, it doesn't read like a chipped cartridge. Okay, but there are vessels that carry the ink. Like the print head still has basically cartridges over it. That makes sense, right? You're going to take these out and then just strain them. Let's go and see. I'm going to go here and just kind of pull these out. Oh, come on. I just put this lotion on my hands. So you know that oh so important part when you charge your inks? And so if I tilt this, it's going to go back up here. But when you charge your inks, I'm going to see, let's see, which angle is probably going to give you the best view. Let's go straight to the overhead. There we go. This is what it's doing. So if you never charge your ink, there's a very important part when you're doing your like when you're putting the ink in, not even converting, when you're just putting the ink in. When you're just putting the ink in, if you don't push it where, like on the instructions, it says to hold down the question mark for like 5 seconds. And it's going to, you're going to hear it basically charge. And that's how the ink is getting in here. If you just put the ink in, it's just in the tank. It's not getting to the actual cartridge part. So you have to be mindful of that with it getting to the cartridge part. All right. Now, if you tilt, like, I mean, I'm going to take this one back, you know, anyway. You can have ink up here. It's not going to kill it or anything. As you can see on my black one, I do have ink in that part. It's not that big of a deal with the ink being in there. Some say you can pull this off, but then you still have ink in here. So you're going to see the difference, and I'm going to pull this slow. Let's just kind of put that to the side. I'm trying to get to the blue one because that's the one on the end, or cyan. Oh, come on. Okay, so there's your magenta. And then your cyan. I'm going to kind of pop this out of here just so that I can get to it a little bit better. The other reason why I don't want to kind of remove it from here is so that I don't have ink every friggin' where. So I'm going to just kind of go through the bottom. You're going to take your corresponding, and I would do that one, and the blue is there. So let's prop you up with a pigment ink so that I can put this ink back in here. All right, so I'm just taking the top off of this one so that I can kind of see that. I'm going to take my syringe and I'm going to pull the ink out. Okay. So just going to come to the bottom, put that right there, and draw. Out the ink. I'm going to see my ink level. Just kind of watching it to see where I'm at as far as getting all of it out. Oh, you know what? Let me see. Did I do that last time? I did the black one. No, that did nothing for it. Having the big syringes come in handy. I probably should have put gloves on, but I didn't. All right, that pretty much should be, because that is the bottle that this came out of. So let me see. I can't tell how much more ink is in there. I may end up having to, unless this wasn't the bottle that I used, I definitely need a paper towel because this is getting messy. And I would not have any paper towels in here. So let's use a piece of fabric. And I was trying to avoid being messy and not take this off, but I probably should have just taken it off. Because I'm getting messy anyway. See, I didn't want it to be messy. All right. So there's that. If your syringe can get in there, which I may, if I can do it with the needle. I was doing it to the bottom. I didn't grab a needle. Let's see. Does any of my syringes in here have needles? Nope. Let me go grab one of the ones off the other one. 1 second. Oh, guess what, Cassandra? If you're wanting to order pigment ink, there, the code before it wasn't off the entire site. So right now, the code of the day, the professor, gets you 12% off of the 4-pack of pigment ink. So all 4 colors, that gets you 12% off. So the code for the day, which is the professor, will get you 12% off the pigment ink. So definitely go and order. It's only until 30 minutes after this video. She says a lot of static. Not sure why, because nothing else. Is anyone else having issues with audio? Let me kind of go and see. Okay. So let's grab my blue syringe. And you'll start to hear when there's no ink in it. All right, so I'm pulling. And I'm going to check over here, and it looks like all of it is out. And that's another joy of the needles that we have. Is that it's a wider needle. So that really will help with getting a lot of that ink out. Okay. So I'm going to just wipe this down. I'm going to use the other one to pull out the rest of the ink in here. Which I forgot that the, what's that thing called? The tube wasn't on it, so a little bit of ink came out that way. But guess what? They're going to get this back, so I don't really care. All right, so pulled out as much of that ink as possible, and I just got it all over my desk. I'm hungry, y'all. I'm trying to hurry up because I'm hungry. Okay. Messy. Definitely should have on gloves. I'm going to spend 30 minutes washing my hands before I go and eat. So just going to clean that off. Put that back on. Slide it back in there. And just click that one in so that it's out of the way. I know that one is done. And I just click that one back in. So wanted to show you that way. I will be pulling from the bottom for the rest of them. And let's close this up so we don't have any accidents. And let's open up the magenta. Oh, come on. So someone asked what happened with this printer while removing the ink. Well, with this particular one, there was an error on it, but I purchased this printer specifically to show how to remove the ink, because some people either put the Epson ink in here instead of their sublimation ink. Some people want to remove the ink to completely switch ink brands. So you can do it for that. If you have to return your printer and you don't want to lose all of your sublimation ink, or you have to return it to Epson or return it to the store. You don't want to lose all of your pigment ink or sublimation ink, because you can put either in this particular printer. So you just drain it so that you don't lose all of your ink. And I'm actually pulling out a lot more air doing it this way. So it's filling it up, because I'm like, this is the bottle this came out of. So it definitely shouldn't feel like overfill, because it should just return back to the regular level. But I have a lot of air in this. So I'm gonna go to the next one. I'm trying not to, I guess my hand is already dirty and full of ink, to where I should just go ahead and take off the plug. My hand is already dirty, so at this point, nothing to lose. So I'm going to just show you again what I'm taking off. So just be very careful that you don't kind of mess it up and poke a hole in it from pulling it. Just pull it slow. Okay. I forgot to take this off. Also, I guess maybe the advantage of doing it this way is, guess what? When it comes time to put it back in, yeah, I was gonna say, you don't have to take it all the way off. You could just take, come on, the very top to make sure that it doesn't spill. So if you just take the cap off, you can just put it in the top and push it in. And there's 70 in there. So though I pulled out, no, this one I didn't pull in. So that was 20, 40. Well, it's actually a little bit over. So that was probably about 50, 25 and 25. So I probably did, oh wait, this might not be the bottle for this, because this is overfilling too. Okay, so maybe I did pull out the wrong bottle, which means there's another set open somewhere that I'm going to have to put the rest of this ink in. There is a set of ink somewhere, because I think I still have more ink. Maybe not. Bam. So the majority of that ink is out. Yeah, that's overflowing. Let's see. Is there one in here? Nope. There has to be an open yellow ink somewhere. But that's fine. I have a whole bottle of ink from the ink that we pre-filled. And I have some in here, so I can have it. So I'll just put mine in there. And let me just check down here. Yep. All the ink is out of there. Yeah. so now I'm pulling on it. Ooh, pulled that all the way off. Nothing is coming out, so I'm good. I have multiple syringes, so for me, I'm just kind of switching back and forth between my syringes that has the needle and the one that doesn't. But of course, you would just take off. So if you just had the one, you would just take off this needle. But I have one that doesn't have it on there already. Where'd you, oh, the yellow one, I had to use a new one. And that's how I'm going to get the ink out of this. All right, so I'm going to switch to the overhead. And just get that little bit of residual ink. Actually, I wonder if I pull it. Can I pull it through here? I've never tried it from there. Ooh, look. It actually somewhat works, pulling it through there. Then get and close the top of this. And let's put that on there. Yeah, so all that. That's probably as good as it's going to get for getting all of that out. And you can keep pulling, keep pulling. It'll come out a little bit at a time. I mean, so there's a little bit of ink in there. So it's kind of like almost like you have to get it like right in the right spot to get the rest of it out. It's just going to keep pulling it little by little. Hold it up. More will come out. Now, a little bit in there is not going to affect it. Even if it's the dye ink, it's not going to affect it too much. If it's a little, like if you're switching brands and it's a little bit of ink in there, again, it's not going to affect it that much. So don't try to like get it completely out. You don't have to worry about trying to flush it. I was trying to do these in order. Don't mix them up. Once you take them out, remember it goes cyan, magenta, yellow. Don't mix them up because if you put this over, I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Hold on, let's see. You probably won't be able to see it, but the little pins in there that your cartridges sit on, you don't want to cross-contaminate. And then your colors are really going to be off directly in your print head. So that's why I was trying to go in order. Make sure that when you put it back in, you are putting it in the right order. It's also right up here, which order the ink goes in. So be sure to follow that, okay? All right, I don't remember what I did, where I was at with that one. Really don't remember. And now let's just do black. Is this the black syringe? Yes, you are. This actually didn't even matter. Yeah, you know what? I'm hungry. We're going to do this the fast way because I am hungry. Let's grab my big. Now, see, we have one that is a 60. We only sell the 30. But to pull this out in one, like 2 pulls, basically, it should pull all of this out. All right. Let's kind of get that off. Yeah, see, it popped the air because, I mean, this was a 60 mil. So I knew like 2 good ones and all that was going to be out of there. And once again, that's going to overflow. So let me grab, do I even have a black one in here? Yep, I surely do. And let me check the front. Yep, all of the ink is out. So I was just checking. Let's see. Oops, wrong one. There we go. So just to make sure, you're going to see some tints on it, but you'll tell the difference when it's full and when it's not full. So just check your levels here to make sure that, you know, the ink is out, but you can hear the air. Your lines are still going to be tinted. And what am I looking for? This right here. Oh, let's see. Put you in the bottle. I'm going to try and put this one here to try and get the ink out. So just showing you either way will work. All right, so all of the ink is now out of here, and I'm not wasting my ink, my sublimation ink, and giving Epson my sublimation ink. They can have their little funky printer back because, yeah, it's not working. Let's see. I can use you to wipe my hands. Oh, wait. I think I have to do, I think I may still have ink in the magenta one. I don't think we completed that one. I don't think we completed the magenta because the syringe was still over there. So let's pull that one off. Oh no, see, it was just a lot of air in it. Not a lot of ink, it's more air. So I really did get the majority of it out. Make sure you don't pull the back all the way out. And where is the magenta? That would be you. It's like a murder scene. All this red ink. The ink is now all the way out of all of the lines in the tank. So you can either go back to filling it with a different brand of ink, the correct ink, or send it back without ink. So either option. So that's, those are the reasons why you would do this. Either you want to switch inks, you put the wrong ink in, you put the Epson ink in, and now you need to put your pigment and or sublimation ink in. Or you want to switch brands of ink and you don't want to mix them too much, you would remove it. Wear gloves. Doing it this way from here, I'm going to show you again. So going from here is faster. You don't have to take them out. And if you got to hopefully you got to the end of this video. So, I mean, if you can pull them out, you don't have to necessarily have to take it all the way out. Well, yes, you do, because you still have to get the ink out of the actual cartridge part. So you do still have to take it out. I was going to say you can just pull the plug out of it. I mean, you can initially do that, but you are going to still have to pull it out to get all of the ink out. But yeah, so if you have let me move this because I just see this as a disaster ready to happen. If you have like I said, the one where the cover for the ports opens up there, I believe you already see your cartridges. So this is only for the ones like the smaller format ones where you have to go in through the front and remove the screws. And you have to lift up the entire scanner bed. All right. So that's that. And push all these back in. Remove this. Make sure it was nothing crazy in here. That was causing the scanner to not work. And then we're going to put our screws back in. Wrong screwdriver. I just realized it was so dark over here because the ring light wasn't on. Oh, yeah. Actually, no, this being down may help me get to this particular screw a little bit easier. Oh, that hole. So put it back in. And it is back together. No disassemble. All right. All done. It's not that bad. Me being messy and me trying to rush because I'm hungry probably made it look worse than what it was and messier than it should have been. But I'm also trying to get done so that I can go eat. I hear them in there. They're actually already eating without me. And I need to clean my desk off before I leave out of here so that this doesn't completely stain it. Where is my awesome spray? Wherefore art thou, awesome spray? So that I can clean my desk before that sets in. I don't have a paper towel in here. I don't see the one that has the spray bottle, but that's okay because I'm gonna put a little bit on this rag and get that off my table. This was already here, but the one that was there was new. Awesome spray, gets it up, and it'll actually get this off of my hands too. But I'm going to use soap and water. But that is how, and still, of course, still has the error. Don't know what that is. So we're going to turn that off. And this is going to go back to Wally World tomorrow. Hopefully they have some more of these there. And I don't have to go through going to Epson. But yeah, that's all, folks. See, it's not that bad to remove the ink. You probably were intimidated, scared to open it up, but I promise you it's not that bad. I probably made it look worse than what it really is because that's what happens when you rush. Ooh, that got that ink off that's been sitting there for weeks. When I set it up and that yellow ink fell, that awesome spray got that right off. So yeah, that's that. Okay, let's see. This is the Epson 2720. However, you can do this for any of the EcoTank printers. Let's see. I just upgraded to the 15,000 and I have the 4,700. Would you recommend to do this to put my ink in the new one or just buy new ink? What do you plan to do with the 4,700? Can you start off with Sublimation ink first instead of the manufacturer's ink? You should actually start off. If you are doing it for sublimation, do not put the manufacturer ink. Do not put the Epson ink in there. Because it's kind of pointless to do this. You only put the Epson ink. Well, my recommendation, a lot of people will tell you not to put the Epson ink in if you're doing cartridges. I recommend that you start with the Epson ink when you're using cartridges, not for the EcoTank. The EcoTank, you put in either your pigment ink or your sublimation ink, okay? I mean, if you're still going to use it for sublimation, then no, leave the ink in there and just get new ink. Also, guys, if you go to the website, the code is still the professor, but it's no longer the entire site. If you did not have on your notifications for the live earlier today, it was 12% off of the entire site. So whenever I go live, there will be a code of the day. That code will unlock a discount for various things. It may be just one item. Maybe it might be all files, a particular file, particular size of paper. We have some kits and bundles that are going to be on the site soon. So the code can be for anything. I'm going to try and figure out how I can implement the code over on academy.silaholics.com to where if I am ever live on whenever I'm live on Silaholics Anonymouses, from like that one, and that's when you'll see the blue So if you're new here and you've never seen the other one, let me see which one has, I'm going to switch out this for you. Let's see. If you ever see, nope, this color, the black, blue, teal, and purple, that means I am doing a silhouette related video. So whenever I have that one up, you will be able to get a discount on a class on academy.silaholics.com. Whenever you see me live from Honestly Speaking, it will be something from, or actually Silaholics Anonymous may also be like a file sometimes, or a class. Honestly Speaking will be either a file, a template, sublimation paper, sublimation ink, pigment ink, once we get our mats. So it'll be an item within our shop from shop.silaholics.com. You will have a code. So today's code, it's valid up until 30 minutes after the live. That's why I was trying to make sure that I was done by 8:30. So it's valid until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The code is the professor, and it is for 12% off of the 4-pack of pigment ink. The 4-pack of the pigment ink is what it's the 12% is off of right now. Okay. Yeah, if you're going to use it for tumblers and things like that, I recommend just leaving the ink in there. Yeah, about 3 pulls will do it. Any other questions? Because my family's eating without me. All right, so don't forget, we have our Honestly Speaking sublimation paper, our pigment ink, our sublimation ink that's available on the site. Our bottles are the 140 milliliter. Look at the difference in the color between pigment ink and sublimation ink. So they're the 140 milliliter bottles. For the EcoTanks, that would end up being about 2 full refills. For the cartridges, you can get, what did I say, like about 8 of them. If you got our pre-filled cartridges, you don't have to worry about using your ink right away because they will be pre-filled with, and they are $18 normally. Like individually, they're $18. You can get the 4-pack. Let's see. Let's go over to the shop and let's see. The 4-pack is $68. And right now, the 4-pack for pigment ink is on sale, 12% off. If you are watching the playback of this on any day other than January 14th, 2021 at 8:30 p.m., because the sale is over at 9:30 p.m., that code will not be valid. You won't receive the 12% off if you are watching this outside of January 14th, 2021, up until p.m., okay? But the pigment ink is on sale right now. All right, I'm going to go so that I can go eat. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so very much. And now my hair is like so crazy. Don't see no edge control, no nothing. But thank you guys so very much for watching. Let's turn that off because it's going to cause a really horrible light behind me. But thank you guys so very much for watching. Hopefully this helped. If you have any additional questions, go ahead and leave them as a comment below on the YouTube video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell. If you are watching currently from Facebook and you have not hit like and follow, do so and change your notifications to see first or default or see all or always or it's something like that on there. It's changed a couple of times on Facebook, but you want to make sure that you have your post notifications on so that you don't miss a live video, because the code will not be posted on any group, on any post. I will not write it in the description. At some point, the code will be revealed within the live, and that's it. So make sure you have your live notifications on, if for nothing else, to find out what the code of the day is. All right. She says, how do you get the air out of the cartridges after filling them? I have to do a set because I pulled my video on how to properly fill the cartridges. But just so that you kind of, I mean, if you're trying to do it tonight, I'm going to end up doing that video. It's going to be a pre-recorded. It's not going to be a live video. It's going to be pre-recorded. But you do not break the seal once you fill it. So when you're filling it, it should look like this. Nothing is in this hole. That do not remove does not apply to the holes, to the plugs. That's for the sticker. So it should be open here. Your color plug should be here. There should be nothing here because this is where you're filling your ink at. Once you have filled it, you will take, if you don't have two sets of syringes, you will take your needle off of your syringe, twist your syringe in here, pull it up, and let it go. If you have a small syringe, if you don't have our 20 milliliter syringes, you will have to pull it twice. Pull it up, let it go. If you have the 20 milliliter, one pull is all you will need, and let it go. That center chamber on there will fill with ink. And that is how you know that it's no air in it and it is primed. I'm trying to see. You know, we sell them pre-filled and pre-primed as well, because this is a pre-filled, pre-primed set. So this right here, that circle, will be what needs to be filled. And it's in the center of the other ones, okay? Any other questions before I jump off of here? And don't forget, if you have questions, maybe you aren't able to attend the lives when I'm live, and you have a question that you want to answer, when you want me to answer, the email address on there, honestlyspeaking@silaholicsAnonymous.com, is where you can send your questions in so that I could, if it's a bunch of them come in, I'll choose a few and I'll answer them throughout different videos. But you can send your questions there if you feel like you may not be able to actually join live to ask your question. Remember, tomorrow is the power hour. So we don't ask basic questions. We ask those good, really nitty gritty type questions. That particular one streams to both Silaholics Anonymous and Honestly Speaking. So if you're on both, well, if you're here, you probably subscribe or like both. But that one is our power hour. I go live on both platforms. Tomorrow night's live will only be, and I say only, I will not go live on YouTube. I know, I'm sorry for those who are on, well, for YouTube, I may end up, if you're wanting to kind of partake in it, because I'm going to be doing a bunch of different things that you can do with those inauguration ones, rally flags, buttons, like ribbon that you can sublimate, shirts, mug. Well, I already did the mugs. Like, I'm just going to find a bunch of stuff that you can sublimate on, and we're going to do, like, basically have a sublimation party, but it's only going to be in the group. So if you're not following Honestly Speaking and you have your notifications on, you may not get the notification when I go live. If you are on YouTube only and you don't frequent Facebook, email us at honestlyspeaking@silaholicsAnonymous.com. What I may end up doing is doing a Zoom session. And that way you guys who watch only on YouTube, you can watch via the Zoom session and still be kind of involved. But we're going to submit a bunch of stuff. So tomorrow's live in the evening. I normally go live on the open platform. It will only be in the group. Only in. All right. That is Honestly Speaking 365 Sublimation. All right, y'all. I'm going to go eat. Have a great one. Peace.